You reach for your coffee mug, and for a split second, your arm doesn't obey you. It's heavier, not gym day heavier, not I slept wrong heavier. Your entire arm feels like it belongs to someone twice your size, and you haven't even lifted anything yet. You look down, nothing's changed. Same mug, same kitchen, same you, except gravity just doubled. And your body is the first thing that finds out. Your knees buckle slightly. Your spine, which has spent your entire life supporting roughly your body weight, is suddenly asked to support double that. You catch yourself on the counter. Your heart, a muscle that has never had to think twice about pushing blood up to your brain, suddenly has to work against twice the pull, dragging that blood back down. You'd probably feel dizzy first, lightheaded, blood pooling in your legs, struggling to make the trip upward. Fighter pilots train for this kind of force. Sort of. They call it G-force. And even trained bodies black out under sustained pressure, far less dramatic than what you're feeling right now. Standing in your kitchen, holding a mug that suddenly weighs as much as a bowling ball. That's just you. That's just the first 10 seconds. Now think about your family, like your dog, low to the ground, four legs built for exactly one gravity, suddenly struggling to stand. Your grandmother, whose bones have quietly been losing density for decades, the way everyone's bones do with age. In a world with normal gravity, that's manageable. In a world where gravity just doubled, the force on a hip joint doesn't just double, it doubles right at the exact moment those bones are least equipped to handle it. Falls that used to mean a bruise now mean a fracture. Stairs that used to be a mild inconvenience now become genuinely dangerous because your body has to lift double the weight with every single step, and nobody's leg muscles were built for that overnight. And this is still just your house. Now zoom out to your neighborhood. Every building around you was engineered by people who did math, real math, with real numbers, based on a very specific assumption. That gravity would behave the way it always has. Architects and engineers calculate something called a load, which is basically how much weight a structure needs to hold up without collapsing. They build in a safety margin, usually enough to handle several times the expected weight, just in case. But several times was calculated using gravity's normal value. Nobody built in a margin for gravity itself doubling. So, somewhere nearby, a roof that was holding up fine yesterday is now holding up double the force it was designed around. Not double the snow or double the furniture, double the weight of everything. All at once, all the time. Older buildings go first. The ones already close to their limits. You might hear it before you see it. A groan, a crack, the specific sound of something giving way that was never designed to give way. Bridges are worse. A bridge isn't just holding up its own weight. It's holding up cars, trucks, pedestrians, and it's doing it while stretched across open space, which is the single hardest configuration for something to support extra load. Engineers call this self-weight, the load a structure puts on itself just by existing. Double gravity doesn't just double the weight of the cars crossing a bridge. It doubles the weight of the bridge itself. Now, the city. Water towers, the tall tanks that use gravity on purpose to push water through your pipes, suddenly push water through those pipes with twice the force. Some pipes hold. Others, especially older ones, start bursting under pressure they were never rated for. Elevators, which use carefully calculated counterweights to balance the load of the people inside, suddenly have counterweights that are wrong. Not slightly wrong. Half of what they need to be. Elevator cables, engineers will tell you, are built with enormous safety margins, often rated to hold many times their expected load. That margin is the only reason most elevators wouldn't immediately fail. But most isn't all, and the ones running near capacity are now running past it. And planes, this is where it gets almost unbelievable. An airplane stays in the air because its wings generate something called lift, a force that has to equal the plane's weight for it to fly level. Pilots and engineers spend their whole careers thinking about this one balance, lift versus weight. Double gravity means every plane in the sky suddenly weighs twice as much, but its wings are still only generating the same amount of lift they were a second ago. That plane doesn't gently sink. It falls immediately because the math that kept it level no longer works. Every flight in the air, all at once. Now think bigger. Think planet. The atmosphere itself, the specific mixture of gases you've been breathing your entire life without a second thought, is held in place by gravity. It's a delicate balance between gravity pulling gas molecules down and heat energy pushing them to escape upward into space. Double the gravity, and you double the pull holding that atmosphere close to Earth's surface. The air would get denser, thicker, heavier, quite literally, to breathe. Your lungs, like everything else in your body, would suddenly be working against a force they were never built for. Ocean tides, driven by gravity's pull between the Earth, the Moon, and the Sun, would shift dramatically. Coastlines that have existed in careful balance for thousands of years would start behaving unpredictably, tides rising higher and pulling back further than anything in recorded history. And here's the part that's almost poetic. The moon itself would feel it too. Gravity is the invisible leash keeping the moon in orbit around Earth, a constant tug of war between the moon's forward motion and Earth's pull. Change the strength of that pull, and you change the leash. The moon's orbit, the same orbit that has quietly governed tides and calendars, and the length of a month since before humans existed, would begin to shift, all from one number changing. Here's what's strange, though, when you actually sit with it. Gravity isn't some separate force operating outside the rest of physics. It's not decoration. It's the invisible architecture underneath absolutely everything. How your blood moves, how your house stands, how a plane flies, how the moon stays exactly where it's supposed to be. You don't usually think about gravity, because gravity has never given you a reason to. It's the most reliable thing in your life. More reliable than the sunrise, more reliable than your own heartbeat. And it's been reliable for so long that you've stopped noticing it's there at all. That's the real reveal here. Not that doubling gravity would be catastrophic. That part's almost obvious once you walk through it. The real reveal is how much of your entire physical world was built on a single silent assumption. That gravity would keep behaving exactly the way it always has. Every bridge, every bone, every heartbeat, every flight, quietly betting on the same unspoken constant. You'll probably never think about gravity the same way again. Not as an absence of force, the thing that's simply not there when you jump, but as a presence. A constant, patient pressure that every single structure around you, including you, has been built to answer, and it's been holding up its end of the deal the entire time.